we're getting some more breaking news now coming in. I do thank our guests for joining us. Congress leader BK Hari Prasad has created a row. He has equated Savarkar with Jinnah and has said that both are atheists who ruined this country. People who haven't read his autobiography are using his name for political gains, is what BK Hari Prasad has said. This is, of course, coming amidst the massive Savarkar versus Tipu Sultan Rao earlier between the BJP and the Congress, which then escalated into a full Savarkar Rao, and now it is turning into a Savarkar versus Jinnah Rao. The Congress continuing to take on the BJP on this. My colleague Harish Upadhyay is also joining us. Harish, tell us more of what happened and why is the Congress continuing to get into this row?
As we head towards Ganesh Chaturthi, by the end of demands to allow Veer Savarkar's photo at some of these Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations. And that's where the Congress is saying that we would like to celebrate by having Ambedkar's photo and few other freedom fighters' photo. And we do not believe that Savarkar has contributed anything to the society. Going a step further now, you have BK Hari Prasad, who said, well, there's not much of a difference between Savarkar and Jinnah. Both were atheists who ruined this country. And how can you have an atheist photo, the person who doesn't believe in God, his photo at a congregation which will largely be of believers? And this is laughable, is what BK Hari Prasad says. But the Congress largely tried to maintain a stance saying that they would celebrate other freedom fighters, but not openly criticizing Savarkar. For the first time, they have BK Hari Prasad openly criticizing and equating him to Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Right. This is something that the BJP also, Harish, has taken up very strongly. In fact, none other than BSY has initiated their Savarkar Rath Yatra and their huge campaign of taking Savarkar and his message and his life to every home. It looks like this is very much turning out to be the big issue dominating Karnataka politics ahead of the elections.
Absolutely. The BJP understands that probably a section of the society, especially the youngsters, are resonating, especially on the issue of celebrating the teachings and life of Savarkar. And that's one of the reasons why you are seeing that at various district levels as well. You have BJP leaders organizing Ganesh Chaturthi festivities along with Savarkar's photo. They're saying it's not just Ganesh Utsav, it will also be Savarkar Utsav. And those celebrations are currently being planned. And the Congress, on the other hand, wants to say that we would celebrate other freedom fighters and put the BJP in a spot, saying that you're choosing someone from outside the state over freedom fighters like Sangoli Raina and others who are from Karnataka.
Yeah, what it is also doing is it's dragging the Congress into this controversy where they're opposing Savarkar or equating him to others, and then they are falling into the trap as well. Let me go across to S. Prakash of the BJP joining us. S. Prakash, BK Hari Prasad has said that there's actually no difference between Jinnah and Savarkar. Both are atheists who destroyed the country.
No, the views of Mr. B.K. Hari Prasad is always extreme and irrelevant. How he can compare Jinnah with Savarkar cannot be understood at all. Savarkar fought for the freedom of our country. Okay. Jinnah fought for dividing the nation. And equating Jinnah with Savarkar is only a pervert mindset can do such things.
Okay. Just hold on.
Congress party habitually hates Savarkar since last 3-4 years. Earlier to that, they had no objection with Savarkar. I'm at loss to understand their logic at all.
Yeah, I guess you're referring to the fact that Indira Gandhi hailed Savarkar and his contribution himself. What has changed in the last 30-40 years that the Congress's position has become so extreme? Let me take that to Naseer Hussain of the Congress party joining us. In India, nobody celebrates Jinnah, maybe barring a few, Naseer Hussain. But Savarkar was hailed even by former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Why compare Savarkar to Jinnah?
See, I think Jinnah was celebrated by Jaswant Singh, Jinnah was celebrated by Vajpayee, Jinnah was celebrated by Advani. By going to his mazar, Jinnah was celebrated by even the present Prime Minister when he went uninvited to the birthday parties with biryani and shawl diplomacy. So let us not get into that debate. The point number one. Point number two, as to what Mr. B.K. Hari Prasad has said. What Mr. B.K. Hari Prasad has said, it is there in history. It is there in public domain. Everyone notes that two people shared the same view of two-nation theory. First, it was advocated and promoted by Savarkar, and it is there in all his books. And he himself has claimed that he is an atheist. Jinnah also claimed that he is an atheist. Both of them work towards two-nation theory. Both of them work towards dividing the Indian country. Both of them work towards sowing the seeds of hatred against of the people of the same country against each other. And
But
that is all
Naseer
there in
Hussain,
public domain.
what
I
is
think
true-
anybody can try and glorify them. Anybody can try and glorify Savarkar. Anybody can try and glorify Jinnah.
Yeah.
But fact remains, both are the same personalities. They work for the same cause. They have written extensively for the same cause. And they fought for the same cause. And they achieved the same goal.
But who was in decision-making power when the Britishers divided India? It wasn't Savarkar for sure.
See, it is all about thought process.
Okay.
Who started two-nation theory? Who
Sir,
wrote about
Syed
two-nation
Ahmed
theory?
Khan is credited with putting pen to paper when he
Yeah,
first...
yeah.
One second, sir. Let me complete. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, predating Savarkar's birth, has put pen to paper to say that Hindus and Muslims cannot live together as one country. So that is where the two-nation theory began
they are all of
in
the
Indian
same
context.
opinion.
In Indian context. But
They
sir,
are-
in a global context...
They are all of the same opinion. See, whether a Muslim writes that Hindu and Muslims can't live together, whether a Hindu writes that Muslims and Hindus and Muslims can't live together, they are of the same mindset.
Yeah, but Savarkar didn't start
Both
it.
of
That's
them
what I'm
promote
saying.
the same
In the
thing.
Indian
Both of
context,
them promote the
Savarkar
same
did
thing.
not start
Do you
the
accept the
two-nation
fact
concept.
that Savarkar wrote about two-nation theory or not?
Later, he may
Are you
have
still-
talked about it.
Do you still want to promote Savarkar?
No, I am not promoting Savarkar. In fact, my
That
question to
is-
the
it looks
Congress
like that
party
is
is,
you are defending
sir,
him.
I am not defending him. I am
Defending
putting
him.
the facts.
Do you accept the fact that
Naseer
he wrote
Hussain,
about
you don't have to
Wait,
shout
do
on
you
me.
accept the fact?
Naseer
I am
Hussain,
asking
you
do
don't have
accept
to
the
shout
fact
on me.
That he has
You
No,
don't
I'm
have to
not
shout
targeting you.
on
I'm
me,
not
first of
targeting
all.
you. The
We
way
can
you're
hear you very,
defending,
very
the way you're
clearly.
defending,
Sir, you
I'm
do not
asking
have
you
to
a
shout
straight
on me.
question.
I don't understand
I'm
why
asking
you
you a
get so
straight
irritated
question.
if I
I'm
mention
asking
some
you a
facts.
straight question.
In fact,
Do
this is
you
exactly
believe
the question I
that
want to
Savarkar
ask the
has written or
Congress
not written?
party. Why are you acting so irritated if somebody wants to hail Savarkar? Let them do it.
Then why should if somebody hails a traitor, if somebody hails a divider, if somebody hails a person who divides our nation, whether it is Jinnah, whether it is Savarkar, whether it is the British, you know what Subhash Chandra Bose wrote about Jinnah and Savarkar? Do you know what Gandhi wrote about them?
Do you know what Jawaharlal Nehru wrote about
them?
Subhash Chandra Bose? And also, I reminded you that Indira Gandhi hailed Savarkar. Today, you're saying he's a traitor?
Indira Gandhi's letter was in a context when some centenary was being planned. She was being little large-hearted.
Okay.
You know what Subhash Chandra Bose in the midst of the freedom movement wrote about Savarkar and Jinnah? You don't want to quote that?
No, I'm saying that one can also quote what Jawaharlal Nehru said about Subhash Chandra Bose, sir. One can also quote that. So
You quote,
history is
but
not black and white
Subhash
like
Chandra
that.
Bose-
Every leader has grays. But sir, hold on.